What is going on, y'all? It is the Caveman back at it again with another video, and I wanted to talk about the Miami Dolphins today. At one point, it looked like this was a team that was on top of the world that could not be stopped, and perhaps the best in the NFL, but after the last few weeks, we've started to see the humanity behind the machine. Before I break down my thoughts, be sure you're dropping a like and leaving your thoughts down in the comment section and subscribing if you enjoy. Follow me on all my social medias down in the description. I'm pretty active on all of them. So let's get right into things. Ever since Mike McDaniel took over, the Miami Dolphins have been nothing short of an innovative masterpiece. He has taken the Miami Dolphins offense and turned them into the gold standard. He's leading the initiative of the new era of the NFL. Obviously, he does come from the Shanahan tree, but he has taken things to a whole new level. The amount of manipulation and fine detail that goes into every play pre-snap, during the play, and throughout an entire game is truly remarkable. The Mike McDaniel machine that is the Miami Dolphins offense requires precise timing, pinpoint accuracy, ample anticipation, and a shit ton of trust. All these factors are put together, it sets up defenses to fail play in and play out. And with an offense of this complexity, the slightest misstep or hesitation from anyone can completely shut the whole thing down. And I'm not kidding when I say that the attention to detail required to drive this vehicle would be far too overwhelming for the average quarterback, which is why on one hand, Tua does deserve a shit ton of credit for being able to run it so well. But on the other hand, the problem is Tua can't always run it so well. He can't always run it with 100% perfection, which an offense like this requires. We've seen it time and time again. When the Dolphins have their backs up against the wall and the pressure is on against the better teams, Tua cannot seem to maintain the level of attention to detail required to keep this offense on pace. Example number one, late game situation, must score drive against the Eagles. He panics in the pocket, he underthrows the ball, it gets easily picked by Darius Slay. Example number two, against the Chiefs this week, this ball to Cedric Wilson that we all saw, and he said it wasn't a miscommunication. The ball just came out funny. And then just because I have to, example number three, the play immediately after the underthrown ball, he tries to manage a poor snap, he just completely botches it, and the Chiefs seal the deal. Is it a coincidence that Tua has not beaten a team with a record above 500 in 400 plus days counting? Is it a coincidence that in the 3 games they've played teams above 500 that they've only averaged 17 points per game in those 3 matchups, and against everyone else they've averaged 39? It's no secret that Tua heavily relies on the wizardry of Mike McDaniel, and despite popular belief, that actually isn't a bad way to quarterback necessarily. But the two problems with the way that Tua relies on the system is that he, one, sometimes blindly trusts it, so he's not even reading the field. He's just dropping back, trusting the fact that McDaniel is getting the receiver open, and he'll sometimes throw right into coverage. As great as McDaniel is, sometimes he can get figured out. He can get countered, defensive players make an adjustment mid-play, or maybe Bill Belichick, for example, like on this clip right here, forces Tua to throw right into a guy that's squatting on the route. The receiver's job coming out of the right side slot is to push Kyle Duggar out of that area by running through his zone, therefore allowing Tyreek to run into the vacated area, opening up that window for Tua. But what happens is Kyle Duggar stands his ground, he doesn't vacate that spot, and suddenly the ball is just right in his lap. This being a prime example of what it looks like when Tua blindly trusts what McDaniel gives him. Same goes for this clip against the Giants. The second he drops back to pass, he goes to gun it into a spot that is not open. The defensive back jumps it, and he's taking it back the other way for a pick six, because that's what the play said was going to be open. But guess what? There are NFL players on the other side of the ball as well. They can make adjustments. And sometimes Tua doesn't have the ability to recognize those adjustments fast enough, and he's just throwing picks. And then the other problem with Tua, and we've been talking about this throughout his entire NFL career, is the fact that he just is not someone that can create out of structure. Hypothetically speaking, if a play breaks down, it's not likely for Tua to be able to make something positive out of whatever went wrong on the first read. He's not someone that is mobile behind, let alone beyond the line of scrimmage. He struggles to escape muddy pockets. If a guy gets his arms on him, he's probably crumbling to the ground. When that first read is for some reason taken away, he gets extremely panicky. He doesn't know what to trust next. All of these being big reasons why people give Tua the shit that he gets. This is exactly why the attention to detail in this offense is so damn important, because a guy like Tua, the second his mental focus slips, is suddenly stripped down to being a playmaker, and we know he just really isn't that. As Tua struggles to maintain his mental sharpness in these high pressure situations against these good teams, I've began to develop a strong opinion that you might think is crazy. That opinion is going to be this: unless the Dolphins build a dominant defense to the extent of the Browns or the 49ers or even the Ravens, then I don't think the combination of Tua and McDaniel will ever win a Super Bowl. If the motor to this football team is going to continue to be the offensive side of the field with this combination, I just don't think it's possible. And the reason is this: this. I don't think it's even humanly possible for a single quarterback to maintain that level of focus that is required to drive the Mike McDaniel machine for an entire season, let alone in the postseason against the best of teams all the way to the Super Bowl to win it. And when you're a quarterback like Tua that is unable to create out of structure, you need to maintain that level of focus or else you're going to collapse at some point. And that's exactly what we've seen so far in regular season games. Forget about the 4 postseason games you need to play. Honestly, this could be a rule of thumb for any franchise where their offense is the dominant side of the ball, like the Dolphins. You need to have a quarterback that has an element of creativity. That's the bottom line. Like I already mentioned, I mean, Tua does a tremendous job running this offense to begin with, but as much as the complex Mike McDaniel machine props him up, I think it ultimately could be the thing that tears Tua down as well. So there's my bombshell of a take. I don't think the Tua McDaniel combination will ever bring Miami to the Super Bowl unless they do manage to build a superpower on the defensive side of the ball and they really start to lean on them a bit more than what we've seen from them in the past. I know this is not going to be a take that is received well whatsoever, but I'll take my hits. Regardless if you hear me out or you think I'm insane, feel free to leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. And as always, if you enjoyed, please like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. If you want to hit the bell to be notified when I upload, I'd appreciate that. You want to go over to Twitter, follow me over there, I'd appreciate that as well. I have a TikTok down in my description that I think you should check out, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.